We are live. Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the special edition of the Auburn Live call-in show. We are A-Day edition today, Saturday, April 8th, 2023. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. I'm joined tonight by Mr. Jhead. Mr. Jhead, how you doing, big dog?
I'm doing good, brother.
Good.
Had a 8A today, commitment in basketball, which was a massive pickup. Good bit to talk about, and I get to share it all with you, man. So it's a pretty good day.
Pretty good day. We're going to get to the A-Day game. We want to get some calls. We want to hear what everybody's thoughts were. There's not a lot to take away from it. The weather was not kind. There was not much you could take away from it. But, hey, we got to see Auburn do some things, and we're curious to hear your thoughts. Give us a call, everybody, 701-779-9585. We'll get to the phone lines ASAP. Before we do, I know there was a lot of people looking today in Auburn, Opelika for a new home, and I had 3 or 4 people ask me who could they call. Well, we've got the answer for you right here, folks. Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group. She is fantastic. She's that 5-star everybody has. A lot of 5 stars on campus today. I think Jessica might have drove through too. Make it 10. Make it 10 5 stars. Jessica Andrews, folks, she can do it. Sell your house, find you a new house to buy. She is with the Talents Group, 334-704-4442. Give her a call and tell her we sent you. Okay, let's hoping getting some phone lines going. I wanted to go over a little bit about A-Day real quick.
Sure.
Let's see some of the notes that we took away for it. The Mark Dormany defensive MVP was DJ James. Lionel James, offensive MVP, was Robbie Ashford.
Okay.
Lewis Colbert, specialist MVP, Alex McPherson. Bill Beckwith crowd estimate award goes to Caitlin Griffin for her guess of $13,050, and it was announced $16,000. And that must have been, I don't know when, but there was maybe 3 or 4 people in there by the time I got there, which was the fourth quarter. The reason I was late getting to the A-Day game, and I didn't get there till the fourth quarter, was because I was covering a basketball commitment, Jhead.
Yes, you were. A very big basketball commitment.
Mr. Denver Jones, big-time shooting guard, could play the point if he needed to, but he's expected to primarily play the 2 at Auburn, according to him. Committed to Auburn today. He is transferring from FIU by way of Coffeyville Community College. We went to out of high school. Kid averaged 20.1 points per game. He shot 47% from the floor. That's almost 50%. I mean, that's big dude numbers. That's like a big number. Like you're laying it up all the time. He shot 47%, 37% from three-point line. He had 85% from the free throw line. Everybody wanted him. And he came to Auburn on Thursday. He left Saturday morning. And I do know that I talked to him for a pretty good time today. He did not inform the coaches until this morning, Saturday morning, and was very excited. I know Auburn also was excited. Big pickup for Bruce Pearl, Jhead.
And rightfully, yeah, absolutely. They have a reason to be excited. We've talked about this for 2 years on the show, particularly as it pertains to recruiting that position. But the 2-guard spot has been an issue for us in that it's limited probably some of what Bruce wants to do from an offensive standpoint, from a spacing standpoint, really just kind of being more of a well-rounded offense to a degree. Denver Jones corrects so many of those issues. We have not had a shooter of this caliber since Bryce. Since Bryce Brown, the end of his era here at Auburn, we haven't had a shooter to this degree, and now you do. And this is a guy that really had to get active in ball screen action a lot this year. They won't ask him to do that as much at Auburn. He'll be more of a spot-up shooter to a degree, and I think his percentage points will even actually go up some. I think you could be looking probably closer to 40% from three-point range, contingent on how they use him. But Denver Jones, good 6'3", 6'4", shooting guard, maybe even can play wing in a pinch for you. When you have as much roster turnover as we've had to get somebody of his caliber in, it really just makes you feel better about the direction of this team and probably what Bruce is going to be capable of in the back, going forward in the portal.
Did he get some bad news today? Damian Dunn transferred from, I believe, Temple. committed to Houston. He was expected and scheduled to visit Auburn next weekend. Auburn was concerned that he might go ahead and commit to Houston. I know when they found out today, they were a little disappointed, but not completely shocked. They were afraid that was going to happen before they could get him on campus, and it did. So Damian Dunn off the board. That leaves Micah Long hand log turn.
From Marshall. Yeah.
Big 7'1" center. I would imagine he would come in to help replace the 5, which Dylan announced. No. Dylan has not announced, right?
Correct. Dylan has not announced. Stretch has.
Right.
Stretch has announced that he is set to transfer.
Back to Denver Jones. Cool story, man. So I'm waiting over there at the arena before the A-Day game today, and KD and Ira Bobin were out there working on his shot, and KD was on fire, son. I don't know if anybody saw me tweet this, but KD had posted like a boom or something on Twitter, and I was like, he hit 9 straight from the corner. I saw it or something like that, and that was because I did. I was sitting courtside there watching him have a shoot around, and he was on fire. But he was out there working with Ira Bowman on his shot. They had to clear the court because Denver wanted to work out, and the coaches can't be in any part of that. So they cleared the court. Denver came out there and worked with his trainer, Antonio Cook, who is his former coach at Tennessee Prep, and also a former Jeff Davis stud athlete from here in Montgomery, and then went up to New Market, which I believe is Buckhorn. Is that Buckhorn High School up there?
That's correct.
Anyways, so JG Tate and I, a good friend of mine from auburnsports.com, we're sitting there waiting, and Denver was out shooting ball, and they needed somebody to rebound, and nobody from Auburn can participate in this. Like, they cleared the court, there was nobody in there.
So not even JG.
Me and JG get out there, and we're rebounding and like passing it to him in the corner. Panties, man, he was knocking them down.
I believe it.
He's really good, and he's an awesome kid. Let me tell you something. This guy has been through it all. He went from Buckhorn to Tennessee Prep to community college to FIU, and now he's at Auburn, and he is a fantastic individual. So is his father. So is his trainer, Antonio Cook. We had a really good time with those guys, and it was a pleasure meeting and getting to kind of little participate with them. I got out there and shot a couple free throws.
You show them that stroke?
2 for 2, baby.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Granny shot though, or like legit shot?
Okay. So anyways, huge pickup for Bruce Pearl and the basketball team, and that's the first of many. We're expecting at least 3 more, if not 4, from the portal. Jhead, any argument there?
No argument at all. I mean, in fact, I think when me and you've been reviewing notes, there's really not a high school target as of now that you could even point towards, but they have definitely been busy in the portal. Guys like Aquindo from UGA. You got another big one with Quincy Olivari, who hopefully is going to be on campus here relatively soon. You mentioned Micah from Marshall, and I'm sure there are others that I'm not aware of presently that they've got their eye on. I think there's a kid from St. John's that Justin mentioned today, AJ Stores, that we may be communicating some with. So there are a lot of guys in the portal that Auburn's has interest in, and rightfully so. You got a lot of space on your roster right now.
Again, folks, give us a call, man. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. Basketball recruiting, basketball news, football today, the A-Day game, and Terry Ogle jumping in here with the football commitment news. Listen, we talked to a lot of football. I'm talking about elite football recruits today after A-Day. And, man, it was really positive, Terry. No commitment. We talked to Martavius Collins, who we thought might be one of the guys to keep an eye on, and he at least admitted that Auburn is his leader. Auburn's coming after him harder than anyone. Florida State's also in there and some other schools, but Auburn is easily on top for him. He did say he was going to wait a little later in the cycle to make a decision, and he was asked, if Auburn pushes, and he was like, I guess things could change. So he's certainly one to keep an eye on. I'm going to give you something, Terry, and maybe you too, Jhead. We talked to Sterling Dixon, the 4-star linebacker from Mobile Christian, who is committed to Alabama. And I'm going to tell you, there was 2 guys that I walked away from today, and I thought, if tomorrow is signing day, they're in my mock class. And one of them was Sterling Dixon.
I believe it.
I mean, dude was kind of giving me that little grin,
Mm-hmm.
that I've seen a couple of times. And I said, listen, has Auburn ever been as close to Alabama as they are right now? And he said, no. I mean, they're right there. They're right there. He's certainly a guy. I'll give you this, Terry. Sterling Dixon would be in my mock class. Justin Green would be in my mock class.
Yeah.
Terrence Hibbler would be in my mock class. Martavius Collins would be in my mock class. Cam Coleman would be in my mock class. Probably, I said I'm not going to go down this road. I was going to say Perry Thompson. I didn't get to talk to Perry. He went out the side door, so I have yet to talk to Perry about his visit today. But dude was in Auburn, I think, 3 or 4 times that we know of this spring. But I wouldn't
spending the night tonight, I believe.
Maybe that's why he went out the side door.
Yeah.
Didn't talk to KJ Bolden, didn't talk to Perry Thompson, but talked to just about everyone else. And man, it was very encouraging if you're an Auburn fan to see what some of these guys' faces and hear their tone. It's hard to get that when you read a story. When you read, that's why I think the lead in my Terrence Hibbler story was, man, you had to see the face he was making. I mean, he was he was very excited. He was very excited. Cam Coleman had really good things to say. I'm trying to think who else we talked to.
Joe Phillips. Kevin Riley.
Oh, Kevin Riley. Absolutely. Zach, are you jumping in here because you've got somebody on the phone?
Yeah, we got one caller right now.
Okay. Hey, folks, get your calls in, man. We're going to leave the phone lines open till at least 7:15, and we'll get to as many as we can. We'll start with your man, Zach. Who you got on there for us?
5960. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
What's going on, fella?
Is this my boy?
What's up?
Is this Kid Country?
One and only. That's Kid Country.
What's up, Kid Country?
That's your kid, baby. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, Edward. Did you get to see A-Day today?
Oh, no, man.
You didn't miss nothing.
I was funeral today, but just went home and went back and watched the replay of everything and came away, pretty impressed with everything, man.
I hear you.
What probably impressed you the most, Edward?
The guys played with a lot of effort.
Yeah.
It looked like they had an understanding of base concept. He wasn't going to show you a whole lot today. No way. He told you he was going to show you a lot. So tell fans, just don't get too high, too low from what you saw today, because the biggest work for the team about to happen from now up until the start of fall camp.
Absolutely.
Giving guys opportunity to clean up, some areas, trying to get in the playbook and get everything down pat. They working out the kinks right now. But you can see, I have a couple areas of concern, but my same concern is Hugh concerned. So I have no doubt that he's gonna get that corrected. You need a wide receiver, man.
Jhead just said the same thing, Edward.
Yeah, we do, Edward. And that's not me trying to take a shot at some of the guys that are currently on our roster, but I think for us to get the maximum out of what this offense can be, you're right. We need 1 or 2 guys that can give us a little bit more in that room, that can improve the ceiling in that room.
Yeah.
Receiving today,
now, they decent right now, but to get to where we want to be at, that room will have to be upgraded. Maybe 1, 2 players to come in and kind of take us over the top right there, because I didn't say it's a lack of talent, but they really wasn't recruited for that system. No way. Them really not his guys. So I look for several of those guys to transfer after this spring. No way, to free up some scholarships, because you can't just come out and say it, but I don't think he's too thrilled with that room, and he's saying it without saying it. So that, and I still need a pass rush.
Yeah. And the issue with that is, I think you can go and get a wide receiver. I honestly believe there are going to be wide receivers in the portal, Edward, that that you could probably count on that can upgrade that room. Pass rusher is such a difficult position to find, particularly in the second portal window. I think you just may be having to make chicken salad out of you know what, brother. You know what I mean? Like it's just you're going to have to get probably a little creative with your pass rush this year.
Yeah, and like a point I made like a couple months ago when I called in, I look for them to get certain guys involved in pass rush situations. Like I say, he wasn't going to show you a lot, but I eventually think Cam Riley wasn't going to spend a lot of time on the edge because he's too good of a player not to be on the field, and that's an area where we're struggling. So with his frame, I can see them using him on third down situations coming off the edge. But we really need a pass rush. That's
Edward,
we need one.
I'm gonna tell you,
You don't have to blitz all game to get pressure on quarterback. You asking for trouble in this league.
Yeah. The one thing I noticed today, again, I didn't get to watch many plays, but I saw, is Cam Riley 13?
Yes.
I saw Jarquez kick it up the middle, bounce it outside, and I saw this Carlos Dansby run him down in like 2 or 3 steps. I mean, this dude took 2 long strides, grabbed him from behind and took him down. And I said, damn, okay, remember that play. That's worth mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost on that Cam Riley train. If I'm not already, I got a foot on for sure.
We only gonna play really two true linebackers on the field. Seem like for the most part. I mean, with Keys, Steiner, and Woodyard looking pretty good at that position. They say Eugene Asante coming on. If you got linebackers that are capable of playing those 2 positions, you find other ways to get Cam involved because I don't need 13 on the sideline on third down. I believe he could be a hell of a pass rusher because you can go with 2 bucks or edge, however you want to call it, with Falk on one side and Riley coming off the other side on third down. Hey, that looked pretty good to me. But he 6'5" kid, 230-something pounds. I mean, basically, I think that's what he best suited at anyway.
Well, it's where he played.
I always thought they played that guy out of position, man. Owen Popo should have came off the edge. Kevin Steele had plans on using him like that, and that's how he used him, and that's how he was most effective in his freshman year, letting him come off the edge. Owen Popo was never a true just inside linebacker. Put him on the edge, let him use his God-given talent, get to the quarterback.
I like it, Edward. Hey, we appreciate you calling in, big dog. Again, we've been thinking about you. I know I have, man. Hope you have a good Easter tomorrow.
Oh yeah, man. It's the resurrection, man. Jesus paid the price, man. I want everybody to remember that. You know, whatever you do in life, you have to remember Jesus paid the price, man. Y'all have a good day.
Appreciate you, Edward. Cole Pinkston joins us, man. Cole's been knocking it out of the park all day long.
Hey, man, it was raining today. And I was
raining stories. That's what it was raining.
Let me tell you. Here was my pose right here. Umbrella, phone. recruit, got it, umbrella. You know what I'm saying? All day long. So I hope y'all enjoyed it.
Yeah. I know I did. Sitting over there waiting. Hey,
it was fun. It was I mean, there's so many guys there. The buzz was good. I mean,
yeah,
you expect it if you're looking on the outside in, you're looking at that rain and watching guys out there in ponchos, and you're like, well, the energy just probably is down. Mm-hmm. And it probably made people go, gosh, man, it's just so disappointing. But let me tell you, inside that room under the stadium, it was alive, okay? They were having a good time, the recruits. And guys, I think I've been listening, you know, as I'm getting home here. Jeffrey, you were talking about guys that had just had grins on their faces. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are starting to do that, and you're going, man, I could really see you at Auburn. Mm-hmm. I could really see you here. So a lot of good ones too.
You don't get to read those grins, not on the paper.
No. That's I hate that. I wish people could experience that as well. But I try to put in there, like he said, you know, he was smiling from ear to ear. He was saying this. He had some inflection with this. You know what I mean? So that
I had to stop. I had to stop Terrence Hibbler and say, "Listen, dude, if I was your prom date tonight, I'd feel like I'm gonna end up pretty good night. I mean, this cat was happy.
He enjoyed. I think that was the guy I pointed out beforehand and said, "Hey, he really likes Auburn, y'all."
You did. And you've been saying that probably since you started having dialogue with him back before the Under Armour camp, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's correct.
Hey, Zach, keep us going, big dog. I know we got a couple of callers on hold. I don't want to keep them holding tonight. We appreciate everybody calling in.
6-1, you're live. Who are we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Kevin from Wilmer, Alabama.
Hey, Kevin. What is on your mind tonight, big dog?
You think Cam Coleman might commit to Auburn?
Cole, talk to him again today.
Yep, and I put something in our recruiting thread on the corner today about him and about how the push for Cam Coleman is going to be different than some guys. Here's the problem, okay? Cam Coleman knows he's got a spot at Auburn.
Yes.
That's been made very clear to him. So the push is different. He's not the guy that's going, "Oh, I gotta get my spot." No, it's not like that. He's got a spot and he knows it. So the approach as a whole is completely different there, as opposed to somebody who's going, "Ooh, I gotta make a decision here soon." He's coasting right now. I don't think that he's going to make a decision just yet. I do think if he were to make a decision today, it would be Auburn, and I have no doubt in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see that changing. So I'm starting to lean in there with Keith and say I think Auburn's going to get this guy. You're going to have to be patient with this one. You really are.
Kevin, I do. And to be honest with you, I don't know really what I'm waiting on. I am in the boat with Keith. I'm holding Keith's beer.
Me too.
And good point, Jhead. I'm holding Keith's beer in the boat, man. I don't know what I'm waiting on because I'm on the Cam Coleman to Auburn train. When I say waiting on, making that prediction, making it official.
How about Matavius Coleman?
Say that again, Kevin.
Matavius Coleman.
Yeah.
Top end.
Yes.
Yep. He finally came out and at least said today that Auburn is his leader. What was surprising, Cole, was his timeline for a decision.
Yeah, he's another one of those guys. He was real giddy. He was over there, talking with Ben Egamawa before that, and boy, he lights up when he talks about him, and he has ever since. Even when he was still committed to Alabama, and I talked to him that day, he was loving some Ben A. As they call him. and that's the tight ends coach for those who don't know. And let me just tell you, I know what he said. I know he wants to wait till summer. We heard Fat Burnett say that. Dude walked in as a commit today, okay? I'd watch this guy. I really would. That's my advice on Martavis Collins.
I agree. And look, if you're looking at it from the kid's angle, he's already been committed once, right?
Yeah.
So he's probably trying to be thorough if he can, but if Auburn presses the gas and we think they're going to or think they could, then it's going to probably be hard for him to say no, I would think.
Yeah, I agree.
That's just my read of it.
How about DeMarcus Reddick?
I don't think he was there today, right, Jeffrey?
I did not see him.
Yeah.
And didn't hear of anybody else seeing him.
The word is, I think he was at a wedding maybe yesterday or something and didn't go to Auburn today for that reason. But I was also told by somebody that was helping run the show today that they weren't expecting everybody to show up just because of the weather and the drive and things of that nature. And I think maybe he was out of state for something and it just didn't work out there. But, hey, at the end of the day, I mean, pretty much everybody on our list showed up. So it ended up being okay.
Was Sterling Dixon there?
Sterling Dixon?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin, I'm going to tell you, man, Sterling Dixon, I think I mentioned this earlier, but if I was making a mock class and signing day was tomorrow, he would be in it.
Yeah, he might sign with Auburn.
Cole, were you there for that?
No.
Okay.
No, I wasn't.
He was another one that kind of was giving me a little grin. And his words, I thought his words spoke a volume too. You know, he said Auburn is making it hard for Alabama, and Auburn has not been this close to Alabama ever in my recruitment. I think he, of all the guys committed elsewhere, I think he might be my most flippable.
I might go with you on that.
Might be something I put together a little list maybe next week. Most flippable candidates for Auburn, I think I'd have him at the top after this weekend. I want to talk to Perry Thompson because I think he's going to be on that list too.
Yeah.
Very
What's that, Kevin? Perry Thompson? We did not. He was there.
Yeah, he's real good at wide receiver.
Very good. Very good. Top receiver in the state this year. Is he? I think he might even be ranked ahead of Cam Coleman.
Yeah,
maybe not for long, but he is right now.
Yeah, he is.
Was Ryan Williams there?
Did not see him. And I think he may have been another one who's like, I can come up there when it's not nasty ass weather.
Yeah. Right.
But he would be on my flippable list too, even though he's 2025. Kevin, this is a great call, big dog. We love some recruiting on this show.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, big dog. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it, Kevin.
Zach, keep us going, big dog.
6058. You're live. Who are we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey guys, this is Caleb from Brantley, Alabama.
Caleb from I won't say whose neck of the woods Brantley is.
Oh, hey, it's my neck of the woods. Okay.
Good old
exactly where
Crenshaw,
Brantley, Alabama is.
Crenshaw County, baby.
Yes, sir. Right
Mhm.
down the road from Laverne.
Brantley, home of Caleb.
Old Keldrick Falk High School.
Yeah, Keldrick Falk. Yeah, right down the road.
What is on your mind tonight, Caleb?
The biggest thing I've been wondering, we just got Denver Jones in today. He's a top-tier shooter.
Mm-hmm.
And who would be the kind of like our next biggest want or need out of the portal? Obviously with Cario, Micah, and Quincy.
I think I just from the people I've spoken to, I would say Olavari, Quincy.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
They need more shooters.
It was really between him and Micah for me because Micah kind of has that look of like a Kessler mold that we can use.
Sure.
And then Cario for that athletic flash ability.
Look,
He may not have the shooting, but he's one of those guys who can get down in the paint and just cause havoc.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There are going to be other guys pop on the board, especially now, Caleb, now that Damian Dunn has committed to Houston. So I'm expecting another shooter or two to pop up. And, I mean, listen, the board is vast. But the good thing about basketball and why I love covering basketball recruiting is because today Cole and I talked to 30 kids, and that was maybe a fourth of what's really, going on. Whereas in basketball, you got 5 guys to cover at each time. One falls off, then you put one more back on there. So it's pretty manageable. And why I like so. But anyways, I think Micah, I think Kiero Oquendo,
Yep.
Quincy Olavari. Am I missing somebody?
Out of those 3, so you're saying basically Quincy is the biggest. You're the guy who you'd like the best.
I think that's the guy my sources like best.
Okay.
And I think
listen, I don't know. I don't watch film. I don't look at. I go off of what what I'm hearing, what I'm told, who Auburn wants the most and the biggest need. Jhead, go ahead.
And I'll tell you this, he fits 2 needs for us because he can combo. He can play some at the 1 and at the 2 for you. So he gives you another ball handler to have there at the point position, which is a little bit of a concern. We just lost Wendell. You're obviously bringing in a 5-star point guard from high school, but it is high school. And so what's that acclimation timeline like for him? You've also got Trey Donaldson still, but Quincy Olivari can do a couple of things for you. And like you said, Jay Lee, most of all, he can shoot it. He can shoot it at a high clip. and you can create better spacing on the floor so that those players that you want to feature more in a downhill roll and need to get into the lane to truly score like a KD, this opens this up for those guys some. So Quincy Olivares solves some more issues that have plagued Auburn for these past couple of years.
Another thing, because I was looking at stats, and it's weird saying this, but he would be second on our team in rebounding with the stats from last year, having more rebounds a game than Flanagan. And he's 6'3".
He is. Now, taking it obviously, content is important because he's playing in Conference USA. Now, look, Conference USA is nothing to, you know what I mean? To turn your nose at, they just had a team in the Final Four, right? But you're not talking about the same caliber of athlete every team that he's matching up every night that he will in the SEC. That doesn't mean that he's not a very good rebounding guard and somebody that can't help us in that capacity. That's for sure.
I know it's weird seeing a guard his size just having that rebound number because I think Beaver has a little bit of a good rebound number, decent for his size, but I appreciate the input. This is my first time actually calling on the show, so y'all have a great night.
Appreciate it, Caleb. Appreciate it, man. Hey, and certainly appreciate the call. Everybody, call lines are still open, 701-779-9585. And as Edward Tyus said, man, y'all subscribe to Auburn Live on 3. We've got a fantastic promotion going on today, and it might not last through the weekend. I mean, it will last through the weekend, but not much farther. $10 for 4 months. Is that right? 4 months. Yes. $10 for the next 4 months. So $250 for the next 4 months, man. And you'll get your money the first 3 hours on there. Also, another big news, we're going to get to that next call, but failed to mention Wes Flanagan. Wes Flanagan, 5-year or 6-year assistant for Bruce Pearl, left or became official today that he is going to Ole Miss. And Wes was fantastic, man, as far as I'm concerned, and really good dude. Really like him. Hope he does well. He did a lot of good things. He aspires to be a head coach, and Chris Beard got in that position before, and that's what I think he's hoping to do again, Jhead.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this is going to be a step up for Wes. He's going to be the lead assistant there at Ole Miss. He was not the lead assistant here at Auburn. And what you want for a guy who's an alumnus here at Auburn that has done, look, you can't question Wes's effort here at Auburn and how hard he's worked for Bruce Pearl and for the university and tried to go out and do the absolute best that he can. So hat tip to Wes Flanagan. I wish him all the best at Ole Miss. I hope that it is a successful move in his career and that he does become a head coach again. I truly do.
It's a good, really good dude. Really enjoyed him. I watched him growing up, and he is a really. I enjoy Wes. I hope he does really well, and I think it was an amicable parting of the ways, and wish everybody best. And he told me, I talked to him a little later in the day, and he said, "Man, I'll be pulling for Auburn every game that they're not playing us. I love Auburn. Auburn's my home. It will always be Auburn." So good luck to Wes Flanagan there at Ole Miss. Zach, keep us going, big dog.
5484. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey, guys. War Eagle. First-time caller, long-time listener. Coming to you live from the land of the rising sun, Japan.
Whoa.
Hey, we're going international, guys.
Is this our first international call?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Scott in Virginia. Who knows where he was calling?
I wouldn't know myself, guys. So.
Come around, we got you, Mitsu Roboto. What does it say?
Mr. Roboto?
Yeah. What did they say before that?
Domo arigato.
Yeah, that's a whole other funny story. But my first time boss in Alabama said that exact same thing to me. So.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's a flashback. No, I'm just calling. I don't have any questions or anything. Just I have a interesting story that I wish Keith was here for. I think he'd enjoy it. But I guess first off, no, I really love everything you guys do. It helps me kind of stay connected, even though I'm over here in Japan, kind of missing some of the time zones. Like we got an 11 o'clock game. Man, I can't watch that game.
Oh man.
But funny story. So I think Keith talks about Robert Leff from time to time. And And Robert Leff was in school when I was at Auburn. So kind of dating myself, not too many years ago. But Robert Leff he was an engineering major. So I happened to be a grad teaching assistant for a class he was coming through. Dude's super smart, always got his work done, all of that. But I had a real foot and mouth moment one day because some of the students were asking me, "Oh, how was your weekend, man?" And Auburn had just lost a game to someone. I was like, "Well, it was an okay weekend, but it would have been a lot better if we won that game." And then I realized this huge human standing like a few people away from me just kind of had a look on his face. And of course, it was Robert Leff. And I'm like, "Man, I'm an idiot. This kid wants to throw me across the room. He can just throw me across the room." I sheepishly went back later. I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry, man. That was a foot and mouth moment. I'm sure you didn't want to hear that in the classroom." He's like, no, we got much worse than that. You don't have to worry. So,
that's awesome.
So, anyways, guys, I'll get off the line and let you guys get back to your focus and the recruiting and everything. Just wanted the opportunity to call in.
Well, we appreciate it, man. All the way from Japan, our first international call.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Who was it? What was your name?
Oh, Sean.
Sean. All right, Sean from Japan, folks.
Sean, call back in next week, brother.
Auburn Live calling show has gone international.
All right,
Thank you,
I'll
Sean.
call again in the future. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. Zach, do we have anybody else?
Good to go. We have
Okay.
a lot of comments though in the chat. We can hit.
Okay, I wanted to wait a minute. What was Limer?
Yeah, let me pull that back.
I posted about the show today on the corner Auburn Live message board, and one of the comments first was he couldn't make the show tonight, but he was going to check it tomorrow. But he had a question. I think it was about journalists.
It was. It says, "So how much damn fun is this for y'all journalists?"
Oh yeah,
referring to me as a journalist. That's a stretch. But anyway, it feels like a giant cloud has been lifted off the plains, and I honestly can't remember seeing this much positive recruiting info coming out since 2010's Big Cat. Going to be fun watching this play out. WDE. So, for the actual two journalists that are on the panel tonight, how fun is it for you guys by comparison to kind of what you've worked through in years past?
I will say this: whether or not it's fun depends on the fans.
Yep.
So if the fans are loving it and having a blast, dude, it's so much fun. Do you know how hard it was the past 2 years? But when everybody was just so down and critical and deservedly so, it's not fun.
No,
it's not fun because y'all remember when I think I had bitches of the week, female dogs of the week, right? And it just played on you, dude, because even when you had something positive to say,
yeah,
it wasn't good enough, and it was just bleh, bleh, bleh. And it's just like, that was my way of saying, shut the, what do you want me to do?
Right.
Like, here's a positive. Like, Auburn flipped Robert Wood. Well, they free. They pressure. So you talking about the cloud isn't over us. It's over the fans. And when that cloud gets lifted off the fans and it's a new day for them and it's positive and everything's coming out as good news, it's so much fun. So it doesn't really have much to do with the coaches and how much intel we're getting or what it is, and it's all about the psyche of the fans, man. For me,
sure, because you're the conduit for the news.
I'm the messenger
with what they're going to devour, and they're going to, they're going to make a determination on whether or not this is successful or not, right?
Right.
And by extension, you feel. When they're angry, when they're upset, when the comments are constantly negative, look, your job would probably be much easier if you're Andrew Bone, right? You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
What, Jhead? I think about that all the time, man. I wonder if every single guy that visits is a possibility to join your class. How much fun would that be?
Right.
Every
if I'm Andrew Bone and I'm crafting a story and I can basically just guess and say, you know what, I think he's got a great shot at being in this class.
Yeah. Right. Are you really sticking your neck out there when you make a prediction?
Right.
No. Yeah,
when we make one, you better gear up a little bit because you're gonna you're gonna get tore up if you miss it now, and there's a chance.
Carter Nelson, though, number one, he's a tight end, a 4-star tight end from Nebraska. He was here today in Auburn. He is the number one player in Nebraska. And when I had written, Auburn has had the number one player in Georgia, from Alabama, from Mississippi, from Tennessee, from Arkansas, from Nebraska. So 6 states, Auburn has had the number one recruit visit them this spring. And I got to thinking, I was talking back and forth with Bone just about some things. And I thought, dude, that's like a big story at Auburn.
Right.
And, he's like, Micah Hudson's visiting from freaking, wherever he's from, Ontario. I have no idea where his kid's from, but that's not a big deal to them.
No. That's run-of-the-mill everyday news, right?
Like, all those guys that I just named, they visited Emma twice.
let me tell you this, though. The month of March, I put so many miles on my truck going back and forth to Auburn because I had to be there for recruits every day. And I didn't have to do that last March, guys. So, you know what? If this keeps going on, that will be sort of a run-of-the-mill story for us, too, at some point.
Well, you hope next year it's like –
you know what I'm saying, though. It would be, it's going to start to be the new normal.
Well, we talk about it all the time. Hugh Freeze's words, but we talk about it all the time too. Flip the script, man. This is part of that script. This is part of the plot that needs to be flipped.
Absolutely.
All right, Zach, my bad, big dog. Good stuff, Limer. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate your loyalty. We appreciate your support. Keep us going, big dog, Zach.
8918. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
It's KJ from Florence, Alabama.
Florence.
Home
of Enrique Florence.
First-time caller.
No, it's not. He's from Valley. All right, KJ from Florence.
Jordan Peters, I believe, was from Muscle Shoals. There you go.
Yeah, close by there. We
There
had
you
a
go.
couple others from there. Trying to send some more that way from Florence, that's for sure.
There you
Question
go.
I have is 2 questions. One is, today on the broadcast, Hugh Freeze was interviewed, and he said, and just in passing in the interview, there will be times that he would take over some series in play calling.
Yeah.
You don't think he'll do that more often than not?
No. Look, and Cole can probably talk about this, and hopefully I didn't come across as being a smart ass right then. I wasn't trying to be.
No.
But Hugh Freeze has done this on and off and throughout his career where situationally he'll make play calls. And typically speaking, a large part of the time it's in the tempo game or sometimes even down in the red zone. But largely, I think he's going to utilize Philip Montgomery for game planning and play calling 80% of the time. I do think in some clutch situations, he's going to want to be more involved as far as what's going to be called and the personnel that's going to be utilized. And I think Philip Montgomery gets it. He's been a head coach and been a play caller through, for the better part of his career. And when you've been in that head coaching seat and you understand those critical moments, I don't think you take offense to it the way maybe a hot or rising offensive coordinator might. You've been in that seat. You understand it a little bit more. So I don't think that's going to create any tension. I know that happened at times with Gus and Rhett, specifically there towards the end. Gus and Chip Lindsey, I think you could say that there was some controversy there.
Oh, yeah.
To a degree. But I think this is going to be a very manageable situation with Hugh Freeze and Philip Montgomery. Expect Montgomery to probably call it 80% of the time, but for Freeze in situations to definitely be involved in the play calling, specifically, like I said, in the tempo game and or goal line type situations.
Yeah, I like the answer there. Second question I have for y'all is, since it's Easter weekend, I think one of the guys we leave out, maybe that we don't talk about on that staff that has such an impact, Chet Williams. Just want to hang up and listen to see what y'all think about Chet Williams and the impact he's had in transitions, especially from coach to coach. Thank you, guys.
Hey, we appreciate you, KJ. Chet Williams, man, he's been a fixture since Tommy Tuberville. What was his
hard fighting soldier? Was
hard fighting soldier? Yeah. Listen, I love how they've always kept him. There was some. I think the Bama fans hated that. They didn't really like Chet.
Which is whatever. You're talking about a Pat Dye guy that is a man.
Was he Pat Dye guy?
Yeah, he was a Pat Dye guy.
Oh, wow. Did he play?
Yeah. Second string, I think.
I didn't know that.
I think he played a little bit, not Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a starter, but played
Yeah.
a little bit.
Definitely played, was on special teams. And in fact was a walk-on. I read his book. He was a walk-on for the first 2 years before he was put on scholarship. Had full rides to Troy and one other Gulf South Conference school back when the Gulf South Conference was still a thing. But look, a guy that you want representing Auburn, a guy that helps these young men as they're, making their transition from high school into college and kind of getting them into a faith-based situation, if that's what they want. It's not pushed on them. And look, I've been to various seminars where Chet's been a featured speaker, and he just represents the university the way you would want it to from an Auburn alumnus. So I love the fact that they've kept Chet. I think that's a great continuity piece and somebody that brings a lot, not just, from the FCA standpoint, but also from somebody that can speak to the Auburn experience and can resonate with kids because he actually played at the university. So.
Hey, good stuff, KJ. Cole, did you have something else?
Yeah, I wanted to add to his first question before we get to these questions in the comments about Hugh Freeze and the play calling. And I agree with you, Jhead. There's something about there's an awareness with Hugh Freeze that I think is different than maybe you saw with Gus Malzahn, with Brian Harsin. And what I mean by that is he seems to understand people really well. Yeah. Now, I'm not sunshine pumping and telling you he's going to win a bunch of games because of that. But as far as chemistry with the team and chemistry with the staff, I think they'll be okay there because he seems to understand people and how to treat people and how to go about things of that nature. And let me just tell you, there's a lot of coaches that do not see it that way. Okay, a head coach, he thinks it's his way. If especially maybe he tells a guy all week, hey, you're going to call the plays. When they get in the game, though, if he feels like things are slipping out of hand, he'll step in there and start calling the plays. It happens all the time. When I was coaching, I was a part of a situation where head coach would go, all right, turn off the mic. Not listening to you anymore, offensive coordinator. I'm calling it. Can't even communicate anymore. Seen that in different cases. I'm not so sure it hadn't happened at Auburn before. So
I can say for a fact it has.
Okay, I'll let you say it. But the point is he understands people. And I think he and Philip Montgomery have a good understanding of each other, just like Jhead was saying. And Montgomery understands what a head coach is thinking. So I think that dynamic is going to be just fine. I thought that was a good question. I wanted to touch on it.
Okay. All right, let's hit some little lightning round here. Well, Joel Dobbins wants to know, what y'all think about the 51 rushing attempts? I would have.
You had to.
I've been surprised if they didn't, right?
Yeah, it's a byproduct of the element, right?
Sure.
And two, you knew they were going to be very vanilla. They were not going to show anything. And they probably look, what's the position they have felt the best about? And Hugh Freeze is on record about it. It's the running back room. So why not feature them in your 8A game when you have the depth that they have? I mean, look, I'm not championing, Sean here, but look, man, if he's your fifth tailback, you probably feel pretty good about the depth in your room next year.
Yeah, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
I thought the running back room was on display, man. Damari Austin's good. Brian Battie is good. Jarquez Hunter's just a step above them, barely, in my opinion. And I think he's really good. I think they're on the way to that status at some point. And then Sean Jackson, ain't nothing wrong with him. If you had to roll with him, you might be okay.
Shit, he had one of the better runs that I saw today.
He's tough, man.
And that little James boy was pretty good.
Yeah.
And you
talking about Justin Jones?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
What is he down from? Mobile Christian down here, someplace like that? I think he's
so. Yeah. He's a bigger running back too for a walk on. He can play too. I think look. I don't think you have to worry about the running back room.
Right.
No. And look, probably your most physically gifted running back hasn't even gotten to Auburn just yet.
That's true.
He was there today. I saw him.
He was.
Jeremiah Cobb is what we're talking about. James Barnett wants to know, could the reason why it appears we need wide receivers because of inconsistencies at quarterback? I think if the quarterback is more consistent, multiple wide receivers may flourish. Thoughts, Jhead? We might be on the same page here. I'll just throw my quick thought in here first, James. One of the first couple of scrimmages, Cole was there with me. It was a lot of drops, and it wasn't, bad passes or anything like that. It was boom, boom. So I, as a whole, the wide receiver room could be upgraded.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
I think that's fair. And I don't want, once again, I don't want to be overly negative, but you don't see the explosion out of that room from multiple players the way you would want. Okay. It's not about one guy or two guys. It's about having a plethora of guys because you need SEC level depth. Guys are going to get injured. Okay. So if Camden Brown and JJ are out, who's going to be that guy that's going to be able to step forward consistently and be able to provide that explosion that you need to be able to scare defenses so that you can, depopulate the box to a degree? We saw it last year where we basically, you were seeing an 8-man box. It felt like every other game. You don't want to go through that this year. You want to make sure that you have featured pieces on the outside where you can utilize your whole offense. And I don't think you have the depth that you need. I think, like you said, I think you've got 2-3 pieces you probably feel pretty good about.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But beyond that, you just don't have the depth there to necessarily be consistent with that.
And I will say this. I want y'all to mark this down. You look at the wide receiver room right now from bottom to top and come back to me in 3 years and compare what the wide receiver room looks like in 3 years.
It's going to be night and day.
You want to know why that room can be upgraded? Dude, this is a Hugh Freeze. He has monster wide receivers. Look at the room now and look at the room in 2 years. And you'll see.
I want to tell you, too, I want to add to that real quick. And I don't want to get too deep with it, but one of the reasons his receivers are so good, especially on the next levels, because they know what they're doing when they get there. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, this is not on coaching, because we've heard Marcus Davis talk about this in press conferences when we've had the roundtables with him. Spacing is off a lot of times, and that's something that the average fan doesn't see, and somebody who's trained about it doesn't see all the time. I even go back to the throw today where Robbie Ashford hit Tavares Dawson down the seam. I'm not so sure he was in the right place because there was more room to run if he was maybe on the hash or a little bit closer. So, like I said, I don't want to get too deep on that, but basically, I don't put it all on the quarterbacks, and I'm pretty tough.
Hard on them, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Wesley Denny wants to know, this is a good question for you, Cole. Jeremiah Beeman, Justin Green. You guys think we have a 50-50 shot as of now, either of them?
Well, Green, yes.
I said earlier Justin Green would be in my mock class if signing day were tomorrow. Jeremiah Beeman, 50-50 at best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you just don't know who else is in contention. He's not even given a list right now of his top 5 or anything of that nature. I mean,
he's going to have a top 10 in the week or two. I mean, a top 10. Holler at me when you get it to 5.
Right. Some people put out these top 10s, and really it's only 2 or 3 teams that are in it, right? Not necessarily that the other schools are not recruiting them, just that they've already narrowed it down. They just want to do they want to keep it a mystery, and that's okay. That's how it goes these days. I think if Jeremiah Beeman puts out a top 10, at least 8 of them are still in it, really.
Really?
Because he doesn't – every time I've talked to him, he is not interested in narrowing things down, at least not publicly.
Okay.
Maybe in his mind he does, but he is not.
Here's the way I feel. I think Jeremiah Beeman is down to 2 schools. He will either sign with Alabama or he will sign with Auburn. Now, that's just me.
Okay.
For a stud defensive lineman from Birmingham, he's not getting out of the state. Not with this staff at Auburn and not with that staff at Alabama. Now, could Kirby might be the only staff that could come in here and get him.
I was thinking Kirby or Clemson because Dabo has had, he's done well in the state of Alabama.
I just do not see Jeremiah Beeman getting out of state. So,
the thing, though, we're doing this with Beeman, and we all have some teams that we can bring up and say, it's possible. With Green, I'm starting to go, Auburn seems possible. Who else seems possible with him? Not quite sure. It seems to be some other schools. I'm starting to get to where it looks like there's a pretty good chance there for him.
With
I don't want to
me,
say too much to that, but it does look like there's a chance.
Cole, and for a while I thought it would be Georgia would be the number 2 team. I think it's going to be South Carolina with him.
I think you're right. That was the other one.
Yeah. Was that who he threw in there at the end, Cole? Were you there for Justin Green today?
I wasn't, but he's done that several times. He's mentioned South Carolina. So,
look, and credit to Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer has really flipped that roster at South Carolina. He's done a good job recruiting them. I mean, I've been critical of Shane Beamer. I got to admit, Jeffrey, that video they put up the other day was hilarious.
Office parody.
Yes.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it?
Was hilarious, but he's done a very good job with putting the kind of body types he wants throughout that roster, and he's done a good job with them. So this is
who was it? He just signed Jhead. Was it Nicholas Harbor?
Yes.
That's a big one. I mean, that's a D lineman or edge, whatever you want to call him. You know, they got some clout with that, with Shane Beamer in charge, to put it that way.
They've recruited well across the defensive line, and look, that's what the point I was trying to make is that a lot of Auburn fans would say Auburn versus South Carolina, that should be a slam dunk, right? Maybe not as much as you would think. You know, I think Beamer's recruiting at a higher clip there.
Yeah,
I agree. But you want to get to the point where you're back to being Auburn,
yes,
and you expect South Carolina gets your crumbs and your leftovers.
Yes, 100%.
That's right.
I don't care who's coaching there, even Steve Spurrier. TJ, Tyler Justice wants to know any cause for concern with Ryan Williams not making it. We're not completely sure he didn't make it, but we don't think he made it. But I don't think there's a cause for concern for anybody that didn't make it today. Anybody that woke up today and was like, yeah, I think I'm going to sit this one out, big dog.
Yeah.
It's not because they have lack of interest in Auburn. It's because they looked at that weather and was like, no, thanks. I'll come back in a couple of weeks. I'll be back in the summer. I'll be back in June. So I don't think there's cause for concern. I think it says a lot more about the people who did show. Sure.
You know,
but I don't think it's a cause for concern.
I want to share this. Josh Aldridge, when we talked to him, the linebackers coach at Auburn, he talked about the differences of recruiting at Liberty and Auburn. And he talked about how it's not that it was harder at Liberty so much, but that the recruits they wanted were more spread out from that position, okay, from where they are in Virginia. He said, it's a lot easier at Auburn to go, hey, man, you want to come out of school, come see practice today?
Yeah.
Instead of, hey, we'll book, try to get you on this flight, and we'll try to get you a 7-hour car ride, and we'll get you here Tuesday. It's not that way at Auburn. It's like, hey, Joe Phillips, hey man, what time you get out of class today? All right, well, come on over after that for a couple hours.
Let's see here. Buddy Colt wants to know, Jhead, after watching A-Day, what 2 positions do we need most?
Wide receiver and jack outside linebacker to me. Those were the two that jumped off the page to me that where we need to make an improvement.
I'm assuming that you're it's understood that quarterback, right? And those are the other 2.
Yes, it is understood that quarterback, we need to bring somebody else in that room. And look, of the quarterbacks today, and Cole, I do want to get your opinion here, and Jeffrey, yours as well. I thought Robbie probably played the best, but that this game was tailor-made for him,
sure.
Yeah,
given the elements and the fact they were going to feature the quarterback in the run game some. Robbie's a heck of an athlete. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that can say Robbie Ashford is not a fantastic athlete, but can he be consistent in the passing game and the other things off the field that you expect a presidential position like quarterback to do? That's what you don't know. So at a minimum, you need to bring in somebody to push Robbie. At a maximum, you need to bring in somebody to take that job.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think.
Let's see. What it says, Austin Scott. How many commits do you think we have at the end of May? Here's the problem with that. We can tell you how good we feel. And we can tell you that, if signing day were tomorrow. Problem is with these cats, man, you just don't know what the timeline is. Like, what's Auburn got? 4 commitments right now? Shit, man, they might still be at 4 commitments. I don't know. I honestly don't. I mean, it's not like, Joe Phillips is set for, May 1st and, Martavius Collins is going to announce May 15th or whatever. Like, most of these kids aren't giving away timelines. So you would like to think Auburn, I would say, just guessing, 6.
I think a better
2
timeline.
3 more.
And what we saw last year, I think kind of proved itself out. June is a massive official.
Dude, June was crazy. Let's talk about that in a minute, Jhead. Keep going.
Yeah. it will be probably again this year, if I had to guess, with big decision months being July and August. So I think the fair timeline is how many commitments do we have by opening kickoff? Like by September 1, my gut would tell me we're somewhere around 15. I think we've probably put the large majority of your class together from that, like not your portal class, obviously, but your high school class. I think you're probably 2/3 of the way there by the time you get to September 1. I think that's the way this staff is working and trying to close things out.
The reason I interrupted you for a second there, you were talking about official visits in June.
Yeah.
Heard some things today, Cole. I don't know if you were around, but Auburn's not going to do a lot of official visits this summer.
Good.
As a matter of fact, most of them, the majority of them will be in season or in December. They're saving a lot of official visits for December, baby.
Good.
Get fired up. Now, listen, you want to bring a kid down from Michigan like Nick Marsh, whenever the hell he can, you bring him down in June. You want to bring kids from North Carolina like Egan Boyer in June, that's fine. But these Justin Green, look for him in December. There was 2 or 3 more recruits that said, I want to take an official visit. I just got to check which dates they're offering because they're not offering any summer official visits. So they're going to use unofficial visits to get these kids on campus all summer long, have that 48-hour official visit in their back pocket come signing day. Because what do you want to do? You want to burn all your official visits in June and then hope you can get them, hope like hell you can get them and their mom and their dad and everybody else, their grandma, and you got to have the girlfriend come over. And so that's something that I'm going to mention, and I'm going to look even more into it. But I had at least 2 different recruits today tell me that Auburn does not plan to offer a lot of official visits in the summer, in season, in December.
I think that is fantastic. And Cole, you go ahead, but because I got something I'm going to get to here.
Quick, that goes right back to Hugh Freeze and top down and his staff understanding people. And they go, okay, Justin Green, he might drag this out a little while. Let's close it in December. Jeremiah Beeman, he might drag this out a little while. Let's close it in December. Instead of, we made this huge thing in June. Well, he's going to forget about that by December.
Sure.
When he makes a decision. So end it good, right? I think Keith made the point one time. The things you remember from a lecture, the very beginning, the first words, and the last words. Get the last word.
Yeah. Because you've already got the first one in January.
Yep.
With a lot of these kids.
I had a conversation last year. I think I even said this on the podcast with somebody that is in the player personnel world. And they told me, and I quote, that the way the metrics play themselves out, the amount of official visits that you have in the months of November and December, typically speaking, the close rate is extremely high. And if you can't get a kid to OV in the month, they're telling you like, hey, sorry, I can't fit you in December, November, that means they really aren't interested in you in the first place anyway. You want them there when you can put that undivided attention to them. You got all your proof of concept that's been on the table. You've showed them what you need, what you can do, what you can't do. And now you're bringing them in for that because nobody expects Auburn to play in the SEC championship game in year 1. I certainly don't, which means you're going to have 3 full weekends in December to get these kids in, to give them your undivided attention and let them know exactly how you plan to use them here and how much you need them. And I think this is a smart move by Hugh Freeze. And I think, look, last year, we probably would have been even more effective in the December signing day if we'd have had more official visits to give during that time. I think we blew a ton during June that we didn't capitalize on. And you know what I mean? If we had not had a coaching change, you would have been screwed come December because you got those extra 15 official visits.
Yeah. You're right about that.
Hey, I want one more thing. Final thing for me, because the transfer portal opens up a week from today, April 15th, right?
Yes.
Okay. So everybody's going to want to know about quarterback. Now, I've already made this happen, so I am going to play this. This was from Hugh Freeze's press conference today, and he's talking about whether or not he's going to the portal. Will Auburn use the transfer portal to add a quarterback this season?
And we are as real fat. I can make it.
She's pretty cute too.
Yeah, swipe right on that, Jhead.
That was an ad, by the way.
I'm sorry,
Okay, the transfer portal opens soon.
And we are open to any position that would help us improve our team as long as they fit within the culture, and that includes the quarterback room. I don't, I know people make a big deal out of that, but the bottom line is you're constantly, I think competition is helpful, and those that handle it right, and those that don't, they're probably not going to be the winners for you anyway. And so, we're open. Do I think we can win some games with what we have? Yes, I do. But I don't want to ever be put in a box where I say something and then I do the opposite. So I don't know the answer. I don't know if we are. I know that I would be open to it. There's going to be some games you just can't. They're going to stop the run, and you're going to have to make some throws to win the game. And we're not proven in the room that we have that any of those have done that. I'm not saying they can't, and I'm certainly not down on them. I think we can win games with these guys. But should a guy that come available that is a dynamic guy that we think is already a proven commodity at doing that, I think we would have to at least look at that. The transfer portal opens soon, and
what does that tell you?
What do you take away from that?
They're going to look for a quarterback.
They're getting a quarterback.
What we've been saying,
and they want a guy with winning experience.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. An MJ Morris type. To me, Auburn. To me, this is me. If I'm Auburn, I'm looking for two different quarterbacks in transfer portal. I'm looking for a Michael Pratt type guy, a proven winner in the G5 or wherever else, game experience, winning experience. And I'm looking for a guy like MJ Morris because I think TJ and Robbie, one or both could transfer.
TJ for sure can. And he was asked about that today. He has the opportunity to be a graduate transfer to transfer again. I don't know Robbie's situation, and I think the only way he could transfer is if he went down to the FCS level, and he would be eligible immediately at that point.
I will say this, but while I'm mentioning these names, Michael Pratt, by the way, I talked to somebody today that knows him well. Zero chance. Yeah, he's coming to Auburn. Zero chance he's leaving Tulane. So I'm just saying that type, a Michael Pratt type.
Yes,
not
successful, proven G5 quarterback.
Right, there you go. MJ Morris is a guy who hasn't proven much. I mean, he came in off the bench, won a game, looked good. You could see the potential in him, but Zach coming in from the back. Zach Calzada versus TJ Finley on October 8th. Southeastern Louisiana versus Incarnate. Or
you think they dap each up other at the 50 before the game?
That'd be awesome. But I think there's two different quarterbacks Auburn could look to in the portal. I think the first being that proven winner, that Michael Pratt type.
Regardless, whether they get both of those types, they're going to go get one, period. They want to drive the competition in that room. They don't want anybody comfortable right now. They want to get the best product they can on the field.
Ooh. Well, hey, Cole, you got anything else? Because we're going to leave it there. The transfer portal opens next week, folks. If you want to get in right now on Auburn Live, we are going to be all over that. You're going to want to know what's going on behind the scenes. You want to know the intel, the scoop on these transfers, who's leaving Auburn, who's potentially coming into Auburn. Auburn Live on 3 right now, $10 for 4 months will get you through the summer with all the officials, the unofficials coming in, a lot of recruiting news, a lot of team. And, of course, the basketball recruiting is still going strong. There's going to be a couple of more transfers over the next 2 weeks. So a lot going on, man. This is a perfect time. Auburn Live on 3, $10 right now. Get you through the first 4 months. Great show, man. We appreciate everybody calling. Edward from Selma, Old Kid Country. Appreciate him and his loyalty and support. Kevin, Caleb, Sean from Japan, big dog. First international call. Were you? Awesome. Yeah. And KJ from Florence, not to be confused with Enrique Florence from Valley. Hey, one more time, folks. If you're looking for a home in or around Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, Jessica Andrus is the person for you with the Talents Group, man. 334-704-4442. She's fantastic. I promise you, man. She try to take her out on a date, and she's freaking working. She'll get it done for you. 334-704-4442. Give her a call. Tell her we sent you. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate everybody listening. We appreciate everybody watching. For Jhead, for Cole, for Zach in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man.